I'm Ethan with GoBuilda, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to use our new 8mm chain tool. The chain tool can both break and reassemble chain without master links, and has a couple of on-pattern holes so you can mount it to channel or a lot of our other components too. The chain tool also has a couple of pins. Those are pretty self-explanatory and both take a 4mm hex key. First up, you'll need to end up with two different kinds of ends on your chain. I call this one the pin end and this one the plain end. So that way when you put it back together, they fit over each other nicely like so. For most applications, you'll have a specific length of chain in mind, but because here we're kind of just putting it together, I'm going to choose this link right here. There we go. So I'll set that right in front of the breaker pin on this side of the chain tool and slowly push that chain until it's pretty solidly in contact with the pin on the chain. You want to make sure this is lined up pretty well, and once you get it in place, I like to hold my finger over the chain, just make sure it stays there really solidly. Then you want to slowly and pretty smoothly push that chain's pin out. This should be fairly easy to do, and if you notice some undue stress or if you can't move your pin any further, I would stop and make sure everything looks okay. You'll want to drive it until it's in contact with the screw here at the end. This will stop the pin to make reassembly much easier, and if you want to drive the chain's pin all the way out for whatever reason, you can just back out that screw and you're good to go. So once we have our chains pin pushed all the way through, we should be able to back out our breaker pin and have our scrap piece of chain. We have both our ends that we talked about earlier. We want our pin end to fit in this slot right here, and then wrap our plain end back around and set it inside like so. A cool thing to note about this chain tool in particular is you have 4 square protrusions. This will hold your chain in place for the most part, and also will stop the plates on the chain from deforming under stress and alleviate any undue pressure that could have caused some bending and possibly some friction in the system later on. So we have a very similar procedure here. We have our Allen key that will contact the chains pin. This time we're pushing it back in place. And this should be fairly smooth as well. Make sure it doesn't seem really hard to do, and if it does, you'll want to stop, make sure everything looks okay, start back up. For this, you want to drive it until the chains pin contacts the back plate of the aluminum here, and then back your pin back out. That's about all there is to it. If you guys have any questions, you can always shoot us an email at tech@gobuilda.com.